What's up, world? Let me tell you about this beard growth oil I got from 12 tribes on Earth. 8 ounces of oily goodness with a nozzle that prevents sprays and spills, and soft ingredients that make it perfect addition to anyone's morning routine. From coconut to castor, all these oils are hand chosen. After using this herbal blend, the biggest thing I noticed is how soft, how strong my hair was, and how good I feel. Pick up your bottle today and make your beard the star of the show.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all. Hope you're doing well. For the last probably 2, 3 months, Donald Trump has been making these threats on Iran, saying he's going to take out their bridges and their power companies over there. He's going to take them out. And he's been repeating this now, probably say going on a good 2, 3 months. Well, Iran has finally responded and they said, if you take our power out, we're taking yours out. Plain and simple. Do I think they'll make good on it? Hell yeah, I do. Hell yeah, I do. And, for probably the last 2 weeks, I've been hearing that the US and Israel is coming together to do a big attack on Iran. So, Donald Trump still wants to gain control over the Straits of Hormuz. And Iran pretty much is saying you will never control the Straits of Hormuz. That's what they're telling Donald Trump. Donald Trump is also running around here lying, talking about ceasefire. And he's starting that mess up again. Oh, we're going to do a ceasefire. Oh, it's close to the end of the war and all this stuff. And Iran said, uh-uh, nothing he's saying is true, you know? And I said, how embarrassing is this? Every time you come out in the media and make some claim that Iran is begging to negotiate and all that, the next day, Iran always comes out and saying, you're lying. And I know Donald Trump is not telling the truth. Iran is kicking your ass. Why would they have to come to you and beg over any reason? So, and they also came out and said they are never getting rid of their nukes. Whatever they got, that's what they gonna keep. They don't care what Donald Trump keeps saying. Oh, they can't have a nuke. They can't have a nuke. Well, Iran is saying they ain't getting rid of nothing because of what Donald Trump said. So, y'all, this ain't ending anytime soon. And I think Donald Trump knows that. And you know what happened when he came out in the media and started talking ceasefire? The stocks went into the green. So it's also stock market manipulation, is what he's doing. You can see it a mile away. So, Antithesis, thank you so much for the super chat. B1 Valdosta, Georgia. Thank you. Thank you so much for your support. And Cindy Thomas, thank you for the 10 joules gold coin. Thank you so much for your support for my channel. I deeply appreciate it. All right, y'all, let me go ahead and share my screen. And let me just add this one thing also. If the country goes out and it's down for a long period of time, even a week or even beyond a week, America's finished. That's one thing I can honestly say. One thing COVID taught me was America is technically not prepared for anything. So if the power is out for a long period of time, this country is literally gone. It can't function nationwide with no power. It would be so much loss in the economy. It would create all kinds of income issues for people that got to get up and go to work and they're out for a whole week. It will cause a lot of issues with people's pay and people's benefits that they're used to using, and even banking transactions. I remember back in the 80s and 90s walking in the bank and they would just tell us the computers are down. And either they would do it manual or they would tell us just to come back at another time because the computers are down. you know, and you got to think about cell phones because they're going to, if they attack the power, they're going to attack the communication too. So this will turn into a big mess for America, and America is never prepared for anything. These people, they just want to run everything and boast about being in charge, but they have no backup plans for anything. What is your job going to do if the power is out and you literally can't work and you're not making money? What is going to happen with gas? All of the gas pumps now work by electricity. Okay, we don't have the analog gas, pumps anymore. All of them are digital, which requires electricity. So if they do, it would be a devastating blow for America, for real. All right, y'all. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. I see the ones. Thank you so much.
Now, we're hearing that the U.S. power grid is likely going to be targeted in attacks here in the United States by Iran. Now, this comes as we are hearing that 7 states now have been confirmed for being hit with cyber attacks on water supply systems. And we're hearing this is likely Iran as well. And we have now received confirmation on 2 of those states, and who they are as the FBI is trickling out information as to who it was that was hit in these attacks. Let's go and take a look at the latest headlines coming out today so that way you can see it for yourself. August 1st, 2026, as Trump weighs Iran strikes, Tehran vows to target U.S. energy assets and Israeli infrastructure. In addition to that, coming out in the last 24 hours, Iranian lawmakers are threatening the U.S. power grid if Iran is attacked. And as I mentioned, this comes as water systems in 7 states in the U.S. were hit with cyber attacks confirmed by the FBI, and Iranian hackers are suspected in these cyber attacks on U.S. water systems. Now, when this first initially came out, we had heard confirmation that Minnesota and Wisconsin were 2 of the 7 states. It has now been confirmed today that in addition to that, Michigan and Georgia are 2 other states. Now, we're waiting to get confirmation on the other 3 that we've heard initially have been hit in this 7-state attack. However, we're hearing the 5th likely one to be revealed is probably going to be California. So in addition to these 7 states, they're saying all U.S. states should be on alert. And now we're receiving the warnings about our U.S. power grid system being targeted as well. Now, this comes as well as we're hearing that this war is likely about to escalate to levels we have not yet seen. Take a look at the latest headlines coming out. U.S. embassies are urging citizens to consider departing the Middle East. Iran's military, meanwhile, has accused Washington of escalating tensions in the region. We're hearing all of the Middle East is issuing out urgent alerts right now. And U.S. and Israel, they are preparing to bombard energy-related targets in Iran, sources say, and that is why we're receiving the threat against our U.S. power grid. They are saying, Iran, that is saying, if the U.S. hits power grids this weekend in this massive attack we're hearing that's going to be coming, they will initiate their attacks against our cyber grids, and we're already seeing our water supply systems being attacked as well in cyber attacks. So we're hearing things are about to escalate significantly, and U.S. power grid systems are being targeted. We are now receiving in the last 24 hours this information. So I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to get you guys caught up on the latest as we're hearing things are escalating significantly today, August 1st, 2026.
The United States and Israel are planning what would be one of the harshest bombing campaigns to this day against energy infrastructure targets in Iran, and an Iranian lawmaker has warned that any attack on Iran's electricity infrastructure would prompt retaliatory attacks against United States infrastructure, saying, quote, "If Iran's electricity infrastructure is targeted in addition to the infrastructure of countries launching the attack, United States infrastructure will also be targeted." Israel has been notified and is now coordinating with the United States, and Trump has yet to give the final go orders for the strikes. And Trump says the United States is hitting Iran very hard, and that at some point Iran is going to say that they can't take it anymore. And he also said that the United States just wants to win. Energy infrastructure, including power plants and refineries, would likely be targeted in this attack. And the press secretary for the White House says, quote, "As President Trump said at his cabinet meeting today, the United States will win and Iran will not have a nuclear weapon under his watch."
The United States and Israel are about to cut off the power on a city of 10 million people. Full blackout in Tehran. And we've seen this exact same thing before. 2023, Israel cut off the power in Gaza. We saw it in Venezuela. We're going to see it in Cuba. And I bet we're going to see it here in the United States. Full imperial boomerang. Considering a U.S. general just said we're not able to sustain isn't real in their war efforts anymore. And Trump just said we're going to hit Tehran really hard. Considering they want all of this done before markets open on Monday, I bet you we're going to see this happen immediately this weekend. And when a government pressures another government by cutting off resources to 10 million people, it has a name. It's called collective punishment. Article 33, Section 4, Geneva Convention says it's completely illegal. But when your empire is run by oligarchs, who cares? The United States and Israel are about to cut off the power on a city of 10 million people. Full blackout in Tehran. And we've seen this exact same thing before. 2023, Israel cut off the power in Gaza. We saw it in Venezuela. We're going to see it in Cuba. And I bet we're going to see it here in the United States. Full imperial boomer.
Iran has threatened that if the U.S. continues their attacks, they will be attacking the U.S. power grid. There's already been confirmed attacks on our water system in like 7 states as of July 31st. So I want to make sure people are prepared for that. We have a lot of aspects of our system that are old that weren't designed with cyber attacks in mind. There's a lot of vulnerable access points. I've been working on setting up off-grid systems because I've been seeing this coming for years now, and solar is what you need and a good battery. Start small and keep building out your system. If you want a simple, easy system to start with, I recommend Jackery, one of their smaller ones, and just a basic fold-out panel. That will charge most of your devices, get you through the initial few days of a blackout. As you get more funds, get more batteries, get more panels, build out the system. I got this whole bus running on solar. Now, no matter what happens, I got everything I need right here.
The United States and Israel are preparing to bombard Iran's energy infrastructure before Monday, before the markets open. There was some discussion about trying to conclude by the time financial markets open Monday, because of concern about how the bombing will affect the U.S. and global economy. And there's more. The report states that the planned operation would mark Israel's return to active combat operations following a pause during the U.S. brokered ceasefire. According to sources familiar with the discussion, the proposed strikes were reviewed during Trump's cabinet meeting today at Camp David. The reported targets would include Iran's strategic energy infrastructure, a move that would significantly expand pressure on Tehran's economy and its ability to sustain prolonged military operations. If carried out, such a campaign would represent one of the most consequential phases of the current conflict. A coordinated U.S.-Israeli effort against Iran's energy sector would aim not only to degrade critical infrastructure, but also weaken Tehran's economic resilience, increasing the strategic cost of continued confrontation while raising the risk of a broader regional escalation. Wow. And it gets worse. The war between Russia and Ukraine, too. A new large-scale Ukrainian long-range drone operation is now underway with more than 320 kamikaze drones reportedly heading towards Russian regions and occupied Crimea. Such large-scale raids have become a defining feature of Ukraine's deep strike campaign, forcing Russia to activate air defense across vast areas while placing constant pressure on military, logistical, and energy infrastructure far from the front line. Wow, we're at war. And Donald Trump doesn't have permission for the war, but yet he continues to wage it and endanger Americans and endanger the rest of the world. We have the most incompetent administration leading the United States into World War III. And to think he campaigned on ending these wars and at one point said he deserved a Nobel Peace Prize. What a disgrace.
Heads up, the war in Iran is about to rapidly escalate, and citizens in the region are asked to consider leaving immediately. NBC News has confirmed that Russia is increasing support for Iran, specifically intelligence sharing. Reuters is reporting that China is providing Iran with rocket launchers. CBS News is reporting that US and Israel are preparing for their harshest bombing campaign yet, targeting Iranian energy infrastructure. And strikes could begin as soon as today. Embassies in Amman, Jerusalem, and Baghdad have all issued warnings to U.S. citizens in the region saying, if you want to get out, you should do so. Consider leaving now. Iran, meanwhile, says that any country that participates in this war, in the strikes on Iran that are likely coming, quote, will be engulfed by the flames of war. This war is rapidly escalating. It is not ending anytime soon. And I'll have more updates for you soon. So spread the word. And if you're in the region, please stay safe. Follow along for all the news you need to know about.
Yeah, well, see, this is what happens when you have a bunch of old ass white dudes that think they're untouchable and can do anything they want. It doesn't matter. Yes, it's a war crime. It is. But see, the gloves will be off if they do this. And for Israel, it's nothing. Israel has done this to other countries before, taken out their power. So, unfortunately, Donald Trump, he's teaming up with Netanyahu. So, Donald Trump, he's just going to go along with the whole thing like he's gone along with this war from the beginning, But my people, just be prepared. Just be as prepared as you possibly can. If you can get a generator or, some of y'all may have solar, do whatever you have to do, or make sure you have a good working grill, even if it's small, something you can cook on every day. Make sure you have non-perishables in your home. I know people are not big on canned foods, but you may have to consider it if there's no power. So if you can get yourself as prepared as possible, I would recommend you do so. We don't know what this nut job that's in charge of a war. Remember, Mr. Bone Spurs is the one calling the shot, which is scary as hell. So this is where we are. They're making these threats, and Donald Trump is making the threat on a regular. He's putting it out there. Oh, we're going to go after their power, and we're going to knock all their bridges out. Okay. So, okay. And then after you do that and Iran still don't surrender, then what? Because I really don't think even after you do all of that, those folks are going to surrender. I don't believe they will. So we shall see. We shall see if they bring, Israel and U.S. go in there and try to go hard after them, like he keeps saying. I mean, I know I don't all the way believe Donald Trump, but I tell you what, Iran threatening the power grid, if Donald Trump do this to them, I do believe. I do. 100% I do. Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing bad, you know. The one thing I do need to stock up on that I have gotten low on is my water. I need to bring in some more water. I usually keep a pretty big load of water. So, but other than that, y'all, it is what it is. All we got to do is stay prayed up with the Most High, and He's going to get us through this whole thing. He is, no matter what happens. And when if they do, it may not hit all states. It may hit certain states, but not all states. Just like with the water situation, it's 7 states, it's not all 50. So it could be the same thing with the power grid. It could be several states out, but not all states across the country. But we shall see. But you know what? Even several states out, that can be a huge toll on the country right there. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. And be on the lookout for my upcoming lives. There's still a few that I'm working on right now. And don't forget to pick up your hair products. Shalom, family.